Assalamualaikum and have a nice day to everyone. I am Muhammad Imam Birusli from Group 5. Today my group members and I want to talk about the Chapter 7, Aviation and Information Technology. So what is aviation? Aviation refers to the flying using an aircraft, like an aeroplane. It also includes the activities and industries related to flight, such as air traffic control. The biggest of the many users of the aviation are in the air travel and the military aircraft. In other side, information technology refers to the study or use of the system, especially computers and telecommunication, for storing, retrieving, and sending information. So basically, aviation and information technology is the development of aviation technology that utilize the latest computing system to process passenger data to make the flight process easier and more efficient. Travelers all over the world would like to determine their destination, choose an airline over those in the world, buy their tickets without any troubles, and make any adjustment if necessary. Then they expect the whole service to be right, efficient, and fast when the boarding time comes. However, the process of flight is difficult for both passenger and companies. In the air transport field, where demand is high, companies are trying to make use of all kinds of emerging technologies to give them advantage. The development of information technology and computer management has been used to make this process easier, more suitable, and more efficient. Let's take a look to the next subtopic, which is Airline Reservation System, ARS. ARS is the most important application on IT. ARS is the web-based booking solution that helps in the consolidating data from all airlines through the use of the global distribution system. The system provides inventory and rates in real time to customers as well as travel agents. And ARS shows the schedule for a particular airline and used by airline staff. It is a central database of flight, schedule, and seat availability, fare rules, and passenger information. It is important for an ARS to be linked to the other systems such as GDS and Internet Booking Engines (IBE). So let's see the ARS process. ARS was divided by three modules, which is Reservation Module, Administrative Module, and Passenger Module. First and foremost, users will see the website that are user-friendly and easier to use. For the first-time user, they need to give details to register first. By that, they can log in account to book their flight. Once passenger register, they can book any number of tickets. Next, Administrative Module. It is provided to administrators to manage the site and update the content. Airline staff will take their part by displaying airline schedule, fare and timings, and view available seats in the flight. Lastly is Passenger Module, where a user logging into account, they will view this panel. The operation included in this module were display payments, book for the tickets, view, and cancelling the tickets. So the function of an ARS is to display flight schedules and availability in response to the requests of the passengers and intermediaries. Therefore, ARS has to interface with all touch points where this information is needed, including the airline's own website, third parties' website, mobile apps, GDS, and traditional travel intermediaries. An airline's availability display shows all flights for a particular routes or city pair and the available seats in different classes. The availability display usually includes the airline's own flight and those of code share partners using the airline's flight codes. If direct flights are not available, the availability display will show connecting flight option. Next is the fare quote system. This operation stores fare and rules for each booking class. The combined set of fare quotes and associated rules is called a fare basis code (FBC). For international itineraries, fare may involve multiple segments, multiple currencies, taxes, and sets of the regulation. This requires the interchange of fare data between airlines, GDS, and other intermediaries. By combining scheduling and seat availability information with the fare quote system, an ARS provides the best fare for every seat. The third function of an ARS is to store passenger information required for reservation, check-in, and other operational procedure. Bookings for individual passengers or groups are stored using a passenger name record (PNR). A PNR contains the passenger's name, contact details, payment details, frequent flyer numbers, and a record locator. The PNR also stores special service requests (SSR), such as seat preferences, special meals, and wheelchair requests. It is therefore important that the passenger information in an ARS can be transmitted to other systems. So, the final key function of an ARS is ticketing. Once a reservation is confirmed, passengers are provided with a hard copy or electronic copy of their e-ticket itinerary, which contains a record locator and itinerary details. And to issuing e-tickets, many airlines offer a range of optional ancillary service, such as extra legroom, meals, seat requests, and extra luggage allowance. For an additional fee, this auxiliary service can be booked by travelers or other travel intermediaries when making a reservation or at a later date.
Okay, thank you to my friends. And my name is Muhammad Hakim bin Ahmad Sani Azmi, and I will be continue for my friend discussion about aviation. Okay, for my parts, I will discuss about departure system. Okay, departure system also we call departure control system, DCS. Okay, do you know what is a DCS? Okay, DCS is about process of passenger at the airport. Okay, this is very important for airlines to make sure the passenger are safe before departure. Okay, there is I will discuss about several consider that the airline must consider before departure. Okay, first is check-in. Okay, for the check-in, passenger must go to the counter that's have the airline staff representative, and they can do like mobile check-in or online check-in. Okay, next is a boarding pass. Okay, for the boarding pass, the staff of the airline must consider that the boarding pass is format according to IATA standard. This is very important to consider, because to make sure that the passenger are true and not the fake passenger, and avoid from the crime at the or criminal at the airlines. Okay, they also must consider about the seat allocation. Okay, for the seat allocation at the boarding pass, passenger must sit at the seat that passenger was choose. Like have a passenger choose a economic seat, or we call that business class. Also at the border pass has the number, that's a number of seat that passenger must sit at the seat that's allocated. Okay, next is must consider a check baggage. Okay, the staff or airlines must check the baggage to confirm the number of weight of check bag, and calculate the excess baggage charge and issue bag tax. So this is very important, because for the check baggage, because the baggage also must have the weight that follow the SOP, standard operational procedure, according to the IATA standard. So this is very important to make sure the airlines are load with the good load in the airline before departure. Okay, and next is load control. Okay, for the load control, it is airline staff must be considered and calculating the distribution of the balance. For example, that's seat allocation and baggage weight. So they must distribution for this thing to make sure the airline are balanced with the weight so the airline can fly with the stable or balance, and this is very important to reduce or avoid from the risk balance uh, while the airlines are departure. Okay, next is the consider that airline must be considered is a passenger identification. This is a basic thing because the staff also must scan the passport to verify and identify the identity of the passenger, and this also can avoid from the fake people that can encounter for the problem at the airlines. Okay, next is Denny boarding. Denny boarding is Denny for boarding. Okay, so this is will consider if the flight is overbooked, of if there are perceived risk. So this is very important to make sure the passenger are safe. So the Denny boarding for the passenger that want to enter the flight because the like overbook and they have a perceived risk. Okay, next is a no show and standby passenger. This is important to consider because we know that we often the problem that passenger have miss the flight, also want to fly yearly. Okay, this is so the airline consider to no show and standby passenger. So this is they save for the empty seat to make sure that have the spare. That's we also call the spare seat for the spare seat for the passenger that has missed the flight, so they can use the we call standby seat. Okay, next is interline connection. Interline connection is a passenger travel should be able to check baggage through the final destination. Okay, this is very important because passenger must ensure that the baggage of them must be allocated at the true destination. So for the DCS was do the alternative. They do the we call identity flight and connection. They do alternative like rebooking and rechecking. So this is easily to make sure the passenger can ensure that their baggage are safe. Also safe arrive at the true destination. Okay, and lastly that they must consider is interoperability. Okay, this is the DCS may also connected to immigration control for visa, immigration and passenger. Okay, so this is the interoperability is very important to make sure that a passenger arrive at the true destination, and they will consider for the control for visa and many else.
Hi, I am Nur Samira Sarifudin. Next, I will explain about in-flight technologies. A range of in-flight technologies are used on board to service passengers' needs and to ensure their safety. These applications can be divided into two, which is passengers technologies and crew support system. So first, let me explain the passengers technologies. In-flight entertainment (IFE) is a systems and communication tool such as phone with and the ability to communicate with flight attendants and other passengers. For example, video screen in the seat back allow passengers to view live satellite televisions or video on demand, listen to music, play video games, or even gamble. Next, Visual Geography Information System (GIS) display that shows the locations of the aircraft and its progress is also provided. For example, live video footage from external cameras and information on aircraft speed. Then, communication systems. Latest systems communicate wirelessly through an onboard internet where video and audio content is stored on the main IFE computer system or on individual devices, allowing for on-demand viewing by individual passengers. Onboard connectivity allows passengers to communicate with people on the ground using the internet. It may not as fast as the ground-based internet access. However, they do allow passengers to browse the web, send email, text messages, and even update their social media. So next, I will explain about the crew support system. So flight usually supported by two crew, which is the flight desk crew and also the cabin crew. So the flight desk crew is consisting of captains, first officer, and flight engineer, while cabin crew consisting of a customer service manager and flight attendants. Airlines traditionally use paper lists, but tablet computers are increasingly being used to store and update the passenger list. So the tablet can also be programmed to include other useful information such as timetable, safety information, and detailed passenger information such as meal requests, frequent flyer membership, and itineraries. They also enable the crew to know which passengers have connecting flights, enabling them to make alternative arrangements should there be any delay.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Rahayu binti Burhan. So right now I'm going to explain to you guys about airports. Modern airports are a complex ecosystem of businesses, service, and facilities. And usually airports are divided into two, which is domestic terminals or international terminals. And usually international airports or international terminals require a very high level of security and services. Okay, these complex airport ecosystems require a range of IT applications to ensure the smooth transit of passengers. Okay, next is passenger processing. So airline do use a variety of departure and gate control system to support passenger as they journey through an airport from check-in to boarding. So here are the 7 stages for the passenger processing. Where the first stage is pre-arrival. Pre-arrival is the situations where passengers are able to check in using the internet or mobile devices right before they arrive at the airport. It can reduce the wasting time and congestions. And the airports are also using geofencing, which track passengers using an airport or airline apps that install on their mobile devices. So let's move to the second stages, which is check-in. So today, the check-in process is increasingly managed before passengers arrive at the airport. And nowadays, we have 4 type of check-in options. We have online check-in. We have self check-in. We have auto check-in using geofencing and smartphones. And the last one, we have the traditional ways, which is check-in counters. So for online check-in, we usually can check in from our mobile apps. For example, so whoever like had have AirAsia apps, usually we can check in right before 2 weeks before we can depart. And next we have self-service kiosk. Okay, self-service kiosk is a kiosk that located not too far from the check-in counters. And it usually just a small kiosk that this type. Yes. And next we have auto check-in using geofencing and smartphones. And the last one we have check-in counters. So between these 4 check-in options, usually people prefer using a geofencing because it is much more convenient than any other check-in options. Okay, so next we're gonna move on to the third stage, which is the security. The protections of passengers, aircraft, and staff is one of the most important considerations of an airport. So the role of airport security system is to identify and manage external and internal threats. And usually they also help security screening. Well, it's a must to do the security screening, where usually involve these following steps, these three steps. So the first step is confirming identity traveler. You know, this is done to confirm identity traveler. It is done by visual and electronic checks of passport or boarding passes, and it can also be biometric system. Okay, the second stage is the second steps is I'm sorry, the second steps is X-ray baggage screening, which is our carry-on luggage and checked baggage are screened using the X-ray machines monitored by security personnel. And the last is body screening. Passengers are usually screened by walking through a metal detectors. And identity management and verifications is a critical necessity for ensuring the safety of our travel. And next we're going to move on to the pre-boarding. So pre-boarding is a situation where passengers enter the air side of the terminal after they have cleared security and immigrations. So they will see a flight information display system, which is FIDS. At the FIDS, there will be a display flight departure and arrival gate, and what is their gate number, and their baggage carousels. Yes, and also many airports also provide free Wi-Fi and facilities for travelers to recharge their electronic devices. And here also at the typically the business offer food and beverages, shopping, and leisure entertainment. That is what they call business quality, business services tools. And they also have point of sale, which is it is a system to record and process transactions that happens in the airport. So next we'll move to the boarding. Okay, boarding commence with a passenger announcement, but some airports also have a silent policy that require passengers to use FIDS or mobile passenger devices. There are also scope that use mobile devices to streamline the boarding process even more. Like essentially, they use a geofence. And next, we're gonna move on to the stopover. Okay, stopover. Um, Actually, some itineraries require a stopover to change flights or at the transit airport. Okay, so here transit passenger have a special needs to freshen up, get in touch with their loved ones, rest and relax, and airports also provide free computer terminals. Okay, here the stopover. Sometimes some of the airports offer sleep pods. You know, sleep pods is common in airports with a large number of transit passengers. Okay, these pods contains a lighting and audio to lull guests to sleep and alarm to rouse them for their flight. It's like a gadget that can make them sleep, and then they also have an alarm towards that tiny little things, and they'll wake them up when they have their upcoming flights. Okay, and they also here at Stopover also have mobile apps uh, that can support passengers who have missing a connecting flights by providing an alternative flights to them. And the last stage is the arrival. Okay, airline and airports I focus heavily on the departure experience, and the same things to do towards the arrival experience. So mm, these four these four types of arrival that needed is immigration database, passports, scanners and cameras, passenger identifications. This everything that required is to ensure the safety of the passenger itself, and it is very very important to for people to following the rules and regulations that being by the authorities. So in the future, airports are likely to move forwards or to move towards intelligence ambient technologies to scan passengers for both security and health risks as they arrive. Just like right now, we're facing some COVID-19 crisis, and yes, in future that we need more airports like they literally use they scan passengers, I mean, for security and health risks. So that's all from me. Thank you, and next I'll pass it to the next presenter.
Okay, I will be continue for the aviation. Okay, I will continue about baggage and cargo handling. Okay, what is the baggage and cargo handling? Okay, this is important because airlines and airport must work together to make sure the baggage from the check-in to the screening point or the baggage onto the aircraft. This is very important because to make sure the baggage always safe arrive to the true destination. Okay, why this part is very important to be considered because there have a loss or mishandled baggage still cost the industry that is estimate about 2.1 US dollar a year, or that's we can calculate that's 100 US dollar per piece of baggage. So this is a high that's industry must the industry have cost of the loss of baggage. So the airports and airline do the alternative that we call baggage handling system, in short form BHS. Okay, what is the benefit of the BHS? Okay, the BHS as a track baggage and prevent lost luggage. So this what is the alternative of the BHS? So the baggage they took the tags. Okay, for the tags, the tag have the optical barcode. For the optical barcode that's containing the many information like the flight segment, passenger destination, passenger tag number. So at the barcode have many information about the passenger. Okay, this also can conclude that the common IT infrastructure that used by the BHS. So this technology that they use to prevent from the lost baggage. Okay, and at the check-in, the tag information is scanned into database linked with the airline. So the computer system can scan the barcode, and the computer system can know about the information about the baggage which scan the barcode. Okay, Sita and Ayata provide a service called Wonder Tracer to match found bag with lost bag report. So have the passenger have the lost baggage, so they can use the service that we call word tracer. Okay, for the word tracer, we know that word tracer is that Ayata and Sita was provide to that services to match found the lost baggage. So passenger can found the lost baggage, use these services. Okay. For the we call baggage handling system, they have okay. For the optical barcode that I was explained before this, I used to track the cargo journey. So this innovation is very useful for the airlines to make sure the luggage can arrive at the destination and passenger with successful. So it is very useful. Okay, recent development use ambient intelligence in form of RFID badge test and RFID chips embedded in luggage. So this innovation increase the efficiency of passenger and baggage processing. Okay. And this for the baggage for the baggage handling, as have the research that in 2012 predict that by 2025 for the baggage handling they will use the robotic. So this can very increase efficiently of the movement, and use the robotic is where the we call innovation or technology that can reduce the time management and can increase high efficiently for baggage handling with successful. That's all. Okay, thank you.